Yeah, I think I really should start with Tiny Tina, because my mind's a little bit blown, actually, from what I've just experiencing. Tea parties don't come more bizarre than that, would that be correct?
All around the stactus plant, the stalker chased the bandit. The stalker thought 'twas all in fun. Pop! Goes the bandit.
Yeah, I don't think you can get much more crazy than the most dangerous 13-year-old in the world. So,
well, Anthony did such a great job with her, and Scott Kester's design of the character, and the animation team just really killed it. It's just, but the thing is, it's just one bit. Like, I love that it's cool and it's interesting. The Tiny Tina bit is great, but it's just one bit, and there's so much in this game that I can't wait till everybody gets a chance to see it.
Let's sort of, we are just post E3. What have you guys taken away from E3 with Borderlands 2?
I think we're just really excited by how the reception has been for the game. I mean, we're still getting over what people thought about Borderlands 1, and that blew our mind. But the reaction to Borderlands 2 has just been phenomenal. I think throughout the studio, it's just given us a lot of excitement and sort of as we go to finish the game. So that's been really great.
E3 is a trade show, and you can't go unless you're in the industry. You're either a game developer, or you're a buyer, or you're at a publisher, or you're in the press or something. And so it's a trade show. And what astonished me, E3 is just 3 days long, and there's a lot of stuff to do, and I can't fit it all in. And people were waiting in line to play Borderlands 2 for like 5 hours. They were spending 5 hours of their E3 time just waiting to play Borderlands 2. That was. I mean, I felt bad. I mean, I love the game, and it's amazing, and I'm proud as hell. But man, I did not expect that much love. It was really cool.
But sort of walk us through that. I mean, Borderlands is one of those great success stories where it starts off as a cult hit and then picks up more and more fans as the months and the years sort of rolls on. You can almost go, let's just repeat that success with 2. But you guys are thinking bigger. I mean, from what we've seen here, I mean, with her previous one, 25 hours, this is 58, 59?
Well, that's just one playthrough. Yeah. I mean, I'll let Brian speak to it, but, it's when we started Borderlands 2, we're like, we'll plan to make it about the same size, and we got kind of carried away. Things got a little out of hand. So, the budget doubled and the team size tripled. And we're really good at making Borderlands. Unlike, Borderlands 1, we had to figure it all out. So momentum is just created a lot of value. But it's great. I mean, we want the game to kind of be a hobby, and be worthy of being a hobby. And my biggest wish is that when people put their $60 down or whatever to get Borderlands 2, that when they realize the value that they're getting out of it, and as they're playing the game over time, they're like, dude, this is like more value than the last $500 I spent on video games, and I feel really good about that, and that makes me feel good too.
Yeah, we recently had in our office, we had the guys that were that's doing the strategy guide, and they had planned for a week to come out and just check out the game, and it took them about 58 hours to basically make through one playthrough through the game. So they had to come back another week just so they could, find out all the ins and outs and play as the other characters. So it just kind of shows you how big and how impressive the game is. Yeah.
But you're mentioning there about, certainly with the first game, you're finding your way through. You're working out what works, what doesn't. This, though, it seems like such an overhaul with the badass points, and certainly even the skill trees are being upgraded. Is that pretty much what you wanted from the start, or is it being feeling your way still over the course of development?
Yeah, when we first started the game, the first thing we did after, it was actually before we started the game, we went through all of the coverage from Borderlands 1, and we wanted to do a post-mortem. So we looked at every single article that we could find. We listened to our customers. We listened to a lot of the staff at Gearbox on what they thought that Borderlands needed to be if we were going to do a sequel. But we took all that constructive criticism that we had for Borderlands 1, and we used that as the sort of foundation as we went in to think about what do we need to do and what do we need to prioritize as we go forward with Borderlands 2, and that gave us a really exceptional foundation. And then every time we thought of a feature or a character or the weapons or anything that was in the game, we would think about how to, basically make that a 2.0 feature. How do you improve that and make it better than the first game?
I don't have much to add other than we got so carried away with it. There was a moment where we thought maybe we should call the game Borderlands 3 because it's really kind of like skipping beyond just 2. So Brian joked Borderlands 3, the search for 2. I don't know. Do you think it could have worked? I don't know.
Possibly. You might have the marketing guys weeping into their files. But with let's sort of talk about the demo we've seen today. Certainly. The previews we've had thus far has been all about the action. This is more a case of just shining a little light on the larger RPG elements, the towns and everything we're seeing with Sanctuary. Can you talk us through what goes into that?
Yeah, there's when we're thinking about something like Sanctuary, we think about all the NPCs that we want to have walking around. So we invested a lot in the system for NPCs that feel alive and really build on the environment that we have. Because one of the things that I think we felt from playing Borderlands 1 was that it felt a little dead when you played by yourself. So this time we've put a lot of effort in making sure that it feels really excellent when we're running around. The way that our characters talk to us via the Echo device, or whether we see an NPC character like Marcus, who was in the first game. Well, now we see him and he's moving around. He's doing something that's a lot more interesting than just standing there like a cardboard cutout. So these are the kind of investments that we made into making sure that the world feels more alive.
Yeah, the success of Borderlands 1 really gave us the means, the resources to invest and double down. And so, we loved everything we did in Borderlands 1, but, in Borderlands 1, you get a lot of the story through the text and a mission, when you take a mission. And there's still a lot of great entertainment in that, but that's more flavor and information, and now the story really comes through in the characters, and when you're with them, they're animating and they're alive, and if you walk away, because you're totally free, it's not like a dialogue tree game, it focuses on the gameplay, so when you walk away and you're killing stuff, the stuff comes through in an echo. It's like a broadcast that you hear in your ear, so you can see the character's face up there, and you get the story as you're playing. You don't have to stop and wait for the story. It's never an interruption. It's never in the way. And that's just the story. On the RPG front, we've just gotten so good at thinking about loot and the skills. The skills in Borderlands 1, they look like the Stone Age compared to what we've got in Borderlands 2. Some really crazy diverse stuff. Just taking like Zero, the assassin alone, like he can go down one tree where he can start, kind of has a lunge move with his swipe, with his melee attack, and he can chain kills together, so each kill he gets extends his cooldown, so he can chain kills, and he's like zipping around as this like super fast ninja assassin. Or you can go down the sniper tree with him, and then when you use your special ability, you actually see the crit spots. He has a special ability to see the critical points on any enemy, and he can be calling out to co-op buddies or alone, just sniping those hot spots. And that's just one character, and there's so much diversity and variety in the skills now and what they do. One of my favorites is Salvador has a skill called "Come at Me, bro," and he goes double bird, and it makes all the enemies just charge at you, and he becomes the tank, and he gets like an enraged regeneration effect, and just gets all the enemies pissed off, so he can become the tank and just rampage on them. It's awesome.